Good afternoon. This is Veterans Club. It ain't nothing but a thing. But it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday evening. I'm Eldson McGhee, your host, and I'm here with my brother in Christ and in arms. I don't want to say in crime because Tony, we be talking a lot, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but now we just coming out of a rally, a 4th of July rally, and so what you think happened at this rally? I mean, was it a rally that made sense, or we just a bunch of old guys hollering in the wind?
It was definitely not a bunch of old guys. We had I have to congratulate the mayor of Palmetto.
Ooh,
We
yes,
we
yes,
had the
yes.
pleasure of her at our rally this morning, and she is awesome. You know,
Thank God.
yes, thank God.
for her, man. Thank God for that.
We've seen mayors like her. Someone mentioned the fact that you see a little Maynard in her every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, she's very forthright. She knows. I think part of it has to do is she is recognizing her power, and her influence in this community, and so she steps up. She doesn't have a challenge with calling. What is the term? She doesn't have a challenge calling a spade a spade.
Yes.
You know, and that's what I love about her.
And using her a position to educate and bring resources into the community.
Yes.
This I'm gonna tell you what, Tony. This made me think about Reverend Love, man. I miss him, and sometimes I used to say I'm glad. He can't call me like he used to call me out and have me out there carrying signs. Have us out there carrying signs
Yeah.
for politicians. That made sense. That's why we got people like this sister. This is why we got people like Marvin Arrington Jr. in government and Michael Julian Bond. We got to let our people know the power of their vote.
Yes.
And I hope that's what some of what happened with this thing today, because we had some educated community operatives there, man. Greg Fan, the preacher man.
Yes.
Knowing everybody there. It kind of like when you talked about Teresa, he went back and started telling you where she came from,
Yes.
how she supported him when he was running for East Point City Council.
Yeah.
This young lady has been a part of the apparatus for at least like past 20 years. So the mayor of Palmetto.
Yes.
As the mayor of Palmetto, this sister, I know when we got out in there, Tony, how she had the whole setup like being in grandmama's kitchen. She done got the whole staff out, not to cater food, but to cook it for us.
Yes.
I mean, that's going back to she's the kind of politician that I think that when you say she had some of Maynard in her, she had some of Shirley Franklin in her too. Mayors that cared about the community.
Yes.
And that was excellent, man. It was just it to me to see all of these people coming out today, and they didn't care that they was on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So we was kind of exposing the community to what we were trying to do and what we gonna do, really, in terms of bringing the entities together in our community that already work in certain areas of community service and back them up.
Yeah.
Bring resources and to talk about David Means, younger brother, taking over the NAACP. And him coming in and not only coming in to talk, but to show people they already got mechanisms set up to help with the voting stuff that got to be done. So we look forward to him calling a meeting to give us assignments now, because I don't want the people thinking they showed up today talking that we ain't finna go to work.
Part of this reminds me of back when Maynard was running. when Michael was running, when we had those types of politicians, those politicians that were in the community. They weren't people that you only saw on holidays or special events. They were in the community, and that's what we're seeing with the mayor of Palmetto. Is it interesting how informative and how motivating small town mayors are?
Listen. This sister took what we put on the agenda and made it real.
Yes.
Took it to her.
Yeah.
She talked about fellowship like my grandmama would talk about it, bringing people together. She just really went into the definition of fellowship in a way that I don't think nobody could miss it, Tony.
Yeah. And that's what we're missing today, because right now a lot of us are being fed electronic election stuff, instead of that face-to-face meeting where she's talking at a level that I can understand, and so because she's talking, this is something I'm going to listen to and even follow.
Yeah.
If it registers with me, then she's got. If I could vote for her, she'd have my vote.
Yeah, and the way she talked about how hard it is to get people to vote. She talked about her own children, voting for her to be mayor. Now, what kind of person could endure that and then come out and tell us, what we got to do to overcome that? It could be that's not a normal, what I call normal elected officials, right?
Yep.
To be able to come out to a rally and rouse us up with real knowledge of what the situation is, what we got to do. We got to find somebody that can talk the language of these young people so that they'll understand what this rally meant today. And what happened at this rally was we seen a bunch of people coming out that was experienced community leaders.
Yep.
Experienced community leaders. Even though David Mean was probably the youngest of them.
Yeah.
He was probably the youngest one there. But when they got this young man at the microphone, not only did he talk about how and why they need to vote, he set up how the NAACP already got a mechanism that you can sign into right now to make sure you ain't been booted off the voting roll. Because the reality was a lot of people got booted off got booted off, and then we don't know what the government has done with the data that they've seasoned our voting records, and in a time where AI is ruling the democracy. I was trained as a administrator. Basically, now young people coming out of college as an administrator don't have a job because of AI. I looked at that, man. I said, I'm glad I made it through when I did. Because I look back at that now, and once I saw this man laying off all these people that at the VA and then federal government. Most of these people was admin. I mean, you had a few clinicians in there, but the vast majority was admin. What AI is replacing nationwide, probably worldwide. And we got an issue where only a few of us are willing to try to learn how to use AI. It's amazing because I know talking with Lorenzo, right? He was one of the brothers that he's a veteran as well, but he was one of the brothers that went through the class that we just finished training. Now, but even before he got out of the class, he was looking at the intake system that I got, kind of antiquated, but basic information. And he's took it and made it a thorough document that allows AI to help develop a claim in a day. And it took me 30 to 60 days to develop a claim. He got a system in place now that can do it in a day. You got to keep feeding it, and you show me how you keep feeding it, keep asking questions till you see what you want it to do, because it's gonna do it. and it don't talk back to you until it's answering your questions. And this is amazing for us because now we got to be able to use these tools to protect our
Yes, sir.
rights. We got to protect our community.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, we talk about what the VA is doing with this self scheduling apparatus they sit into place. Now, it's good if it works the way they say it works, but then it requires a technology knowledge to work it.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, and you probably know this probably more than anybody. And I'm gonna say 80% of the people that I help don't even have a computer in their house.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
80% of them, they probably don't have a computer. They might have a laptop. Some of them got a laptop, but I'm talking about a desktop computer. 80% of the people that I help don't have a desktop computer in their house.
But 100% of them have one of these.
Have one of them.
Yes.
So what we got to do, we got to come up with a training mechanism. Now, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a veteran, and I know that most veterans have a heart for veterans. We got a new secretary of VA. He's a veteran from Georgia. I got a chance to meet him last Monday before last, and he was the one coming down outlining unveiling this new system. And I talked with him. I mean, and I believe that I'm trusting him, right? He said that he's there for veterans, even though he's in the Trump administration, he's there for veterans. And I believe him. I believe I can trust him enough to say, well, come to the memorial. Let's see what you feel about Georgia veterans. He said, I'm gonna see, can I work it in my schedule? Because we need to have somebody in place that we can talk to, that will listen to us. We're not trying to change the system. We're trying to make sure that all veterans and all people can benefit from the system as it operates in our community. And we got to be able to have politicians, elected officials, that's gonna come to the community like this young man did, right? He came to the VA and he said, "This is my VA. I'm from Georgia. This is my state." But he said, "I got all over the country. So the changes that gonna be made, I'm gonna make sure that they benefit veterans and their families. That's all we asking for. And I don't want people to get the impression, Tony, that we rallying folks for the Democrats or rallying folks for the Republicans. We rallying folks for the save this democracy. We're not. I'm not caring about whether they go to the poll and vote for a Republican or vote for a Republican or Democrat. I just want them to go to the poll and vote for people that they believe is going to do what's right for the people and do it under the Constitution.
Yeah.
Do it under the Constitution. My problem with the current administration is that they don't have any respect for the courts or the Congress when they're doing stuff. He didn't go before the Congress to start shooting boats, killing people in international waters. That is against international laws.
Yeah.
Not just our laws. It's against our laws too. But that's against international laws for you to use the U.S. military to kill people without a trial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say it. We don't have. There is no law on the book in the United States of America that makes drug trafficking capital punishment.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any congressional input in that decision that he made to fire all of the federal employees without cause. That's not legal under the laws of the country that we serve in. So this is what we're trying to get people to see. I don't care whether you vote for the Republicans or the Democrats. Vote for people that you feel you can trust to do the job that they're supposed to do in our government. It's not the government of a few. It's the government of all the people. And that's what we were celebrating today in a way that we first had to call in all the 200 and 40 names that we got on that memorial, Tony, that we struggled for the last 10 years to get built in Piedmont Park. So people will understand the prices and sacrifice we done made for this country and the freedoms that, the opportunities that we got in this country. So we want people to understand we rally not for Democrats or Republicans, we rallying for the U.S. Constitution. We're rallying for people to understand what is actually going on with the U.S. government today and how it is functioning in an unconstitutional manner.
Yeah. That's part of the problem that we're dealing with today is the fact that we have an administration that does whatever he wants without regard to the Constitution.
Without regards to the
Unfortunately, he also has not just himself, his administration and the Republican Party that it has bought into the idea that he can do these things.
Well, Tony, when you say the Republican Party, I want to say this here.
Okay.
It's the mega
Thank
coup
you.
in
Yeah.
the Republican Party. Now, I'm gonna defend the Republican Party because my mama was a Republican, right? I mean, all black people was a Republican at one time.
Exactly.
You know, so that's not a Republican Party that we're talking about now. This is some kind of mob that has taken over the Republican Party, and I'm not afraid to say it, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying that I believe in the two-party system that we got in this country, but what has happened to the Republican Party, it has been taken over by a mega mob. You know, and this mega mob has taken over the government in a way that they appoint people in positions of authority just to support the policies and actions of this rogue president. You know, I mean, so I'm not. This is not, as far as I'm concerned. This is not no more. We're not no more political than Patrick Henry was when he started said the British are coming, because he knew what the British had been doing to American people, and they was getting ready for this independence that we're celebrating today. We need to understand, and people need to understand. I was on the line with some VSOs the other day trying to tell them come to the rally. Oh, that's too political. How is it too political when you're standing up defending the Constitution of these United States? That's not political. That's patriotic.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned. You know, they didn't say Patrick Henry was political when he was telling them the British was coming, because the British had this country, the 13 colonies, in a way that was taxation without representation. Meaning that the government was not actually representing the people of the 13 colonies that sought their independence and got their independence after the War of Independence.
Yeah.
And that's what we're celebrating. So I don't want nobody to take what we're talking about. We're rallying folks. We're rallying you to vote. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for. But we're just saying this is the tool that the citizenry have. This is the tool that the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence gave us to protect our government systems against rogue elected officials, against corrupt elected officials. How can we look at this current mob that we got in power and look at the mob leader making billions of dollars while he's cutting benefits for the poor? I'm being patriotic. I'm not being political, Tony, because I don't want nobody to think that I'm standing up for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I'm just standing up for the truth.
Yeah. It's one of those situations where, because we're not looking at a party, but for the benefit of the people, I think people's eyes are slowly opening to the fact of how this mega the mega portion of the Republican Party, because we aren't going to just denigrate all of them, how they're choosing to govern this country.
And Tony, one of the things that bothers me, though, with some of the Republicans in that party, the traditional Republicans, they just got quiet.
Yes.
That's what bothered me in saying that the veterans got to speak up, because listen, when Mark Kelly, Colonel Mark Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
Senator Mark Kelly
Yes.
spoke out against what he saw and see as an illegal use of the U.S. military. He saw it because he's a veteran. He's a product of the U.S. military. He was just saying simply what's in the military code of conduct, that you, if you are active duty, you do not have to respond to follow an illegal order.
Yes.
That's a part of the law.
Yes.
This mob went at him like he was doing something wrong. Tried to demote him, harassed him with the Department of Defense secretary. How dare you?
Part of the reason why they were so upset in doing this is because he was bringing light to the fact of what they were doing. He was shining for those who weren't very sure about what they were trying to do. All he was doing was bringing to the attention the fact that this is not what the Constitution says, and this is not how we are supposed to govern this country. Mm-hmm. We have laws that govern, and your interpretation of it is not what the Constitution says.
Well, it was breaking the law.
Yes, they were breaking. No, they were making the law so that they could break the governed laws that are in place for this that has run this country for 250 years.
That's the celebration.
Yes, but those of us that have been around a year or two, we're look at what the country is doing now compared to what it was as we grew up. Mm-hmm. We saw the struggles between the Republican and the Democratic Party, but they worked out their differences. Yes. They weren't there for control of everything. They weren't there to monopolize the power that they had. They were there for the benefit of the country. And so we had a two-party government that a two-party wanted to govern.
Yes.
We didn't have a two-party system that we have now where one wants to control. And therein lies the problem.
And control in a way where the rich get richer,
yes,
and the poor get poor.
Yes.
See, I'm a capitalist. I'm gonna just say it straight up. But then, capitalism has to be balanced by a moral code, a moral compass, and what the word tells us, the love of money is the root of all evils. Not money itself, but the love of money. What you would do for money, and what we see,
yes,
in this mob, what they would do for money. So we as veterans need to speak out. We need to stand up, because what we serve for, the pledge of allegiance to the flag. That was the codification of what we stood for. One nation. Individually, you can't break us up.
Right. Yes.
Under God, with liberty and justice for all. We see this administration sending mass men in the streets to pick up citizens, man, killing American citizens because they question what they're doing.
Yes,
that's all that was. Yeah. And with immunity, that's what I'm saying. With immunity, we have a country of laws that would take the police if they do a illegal crime.
Exactly.
But, he done brought in something that he's got above these laws, and even he won't even let the state laws punish these people for coming in that state, killing folks, or just snatching folks up. I mean, we got a law that allows people to be taken into custody if they are in this country legally, and they should be.
Yes.
But that they also have a right to due process of law.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because, see, when we start overlooking the fact that he's not giving them due process, what's going to happen when he come to us?
It's not what's going. It's what is happening.
What is happening?
Because
Thank you, Tony.
he is taking the rules that he's using for supposedly illegal aliens that are supposed to be in this country and using them against the citizens of this country. And that's not how you govern a country. That's how a dictator governs a country, but not a president who is elected by the people to serve the people. I don't think he understands. I won't even say that. He does not understand what it means to govern this country.
Well, I think he understands, but he want to govern it as a dictator.
Yes.
Because he's actually disrespecting. Well, now I'm gonna say this now. He didn't start this issue with not wanting everybody to be a part of the government. We see this with Mitch McConnell's action with helping stack the courts for the last 30 years in this country. And it really came to light during the Obama administration when he was trying to appoint a Supreme Court justice. And he said it was in the election year, he couldn't. They did 3 in the election year. So the hypocrisy that we want people to see so that they can cast their vote for what they want is obvious to veterans. So it's clear that we must lead the fight with making people aware of what is actually going on in this country and the consequences of it. They don't understand that the tariffs that this man imposed caused groceries to go up in the stores, caused gas prices to go up, caused cost of living. It was already bad because these corporations, these billionaires that he done surround himself with, got all these companies, but they don't pay their workers a livable wage. This capitalism have come together in a way that they are supporting a dictatorship, the billionaires, the billionaire crew, because they don't want to pay taxes. They want to make all the money, but they don't want to pay taxes. And they got a guy in the presidency that leading what they want, so you can see him catering to them on every level. How many pardons he do? Never in the history of this country has a president pardoned so many criminals.
Yes. And
I mean, criminals.
And the thing about it, that's a statement of fact, because these people that he pardoned were found to be criminals. They had broken the law. They fought against the country. Yet he turns around to exercise his power and his authority by pardoning them. And of course, by doing that, now they are beholden to him. And because they are beholden to him, they will do anything, and they also ignore the law because they know that they have that person in charge who is going to give them all the leeway they need to do whatever it is that he wants them to do.
And he's trying to make all of them millionaires.
Yes. Oh, yes.
With our tax dollars. He got this a so-called attorney general who's no more than a criminal lawyer. Acting as attorney general now, and he's acting as attorney general and using our tax money in the position of the attorney general to go at the perceived enemies of this mob. I mean, we're just trying to get people to understand what they got a chance to do. They got a chance to vote for this mess or straighten this mess up. It's either way. Whatever way you want it to be, we want the majority of people in this country to make that decision in November. We got to make it in November. Because if we don't make our choice known, then we're gonna get what we got. Because they are already in power, and they're using that power to shrink the vote, Tony. See, like somebody pointed out this morning, that one reason they was trying to shrink the vote, it wasn't so much about the black and brown people, but it was about people in the military and people overseas.
Exactly, yeah.
I said, I never did think about that, how many young people vote in the military. All of them vote by mail.
Yes, everybody vote, because you're not at home. very seldom are you located where you live. You're assigned to a base. You're assigned to like you said, all over the world. And so
I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't think about that part to the day. That's what came out of this rally.
Yes.
I mean, the kind of education. I mean, I got educated. I'm listening to some of these folks, and I said, man, I didn't think about that way.
Yes.
They finna exclude the millions of young people in the military from voting.
Reverend McGhee, that's why these town halls that we're having are so important, because just like you were enlightened, you're not the only one that was enlightened today. We had a room of people that were enlightened today. And because of that, when we talk about it now over this broadcast, we're enlightening people.
I'm telling you, I'm just so thankful for you, brother, because a lot of times you was telling me this was divinely ordained. I would been blow up. I've been to blow up, and I don't know what would have happened if I had blown up sometime when we was running into people in the government that we serve, just trying to get them to do what's right.
Yes.
We have not asked for anything from any government that wasn't right. Now, let's take the memorial. Now we was out there trying to vote McPherson and trying to get it on this side of town, and we struggling. We running around trying to figure out ways to get the government to do it rather than going out there trying to raise money to do it. And we wind up in the office one day of Michael Julian Barnes.
Yes.
And he said, "Well, let's just focus on some property that the government already own." And he brought in a young man from the Park and Recreation,
Yes.
Buduggy. And I thought when I started doing my presentation, I done got into my stuff right. And you can stop. I'm thinking he finna tell me sit down somewhere. He said, "No, we're gonna do this."
Yeah.
He said, "We're gonna do this. So you ain't got to say nothing else. We gonna do this." And with Michael and him, we did that.
Yeah. Not only we gonna do this, he told us where we're gonna do it.
Told us where we're gonna do it. And
he told us he let us know that the city owns property for us to build this memorial on.
And he took us down there.
Yes. He literally took us down there and said, "This is where it's going to be." Mm-hmm. Here we are. We were trying to figure out. We're all over Fulton County, all over Fulton County, trying to figure out a location. And even when we came up with a location in the park, they liked the idea. He said, "But no, that won't work." Because we were talking about the area on the other side of what they call the meadow. Mm-hmm. And he said, that's not fair to people who want to come and visit the memorial when we have all of these events in the park, and you can't, and they won't be able to get to it. Mm-hmm. So we have a perfect place for it. We call it our front lawn. Or anything along Piedmont. And I went like, man,
right there.
Right there. Everything we wanted right there. All the stuff that we were looking for to do right there.
Right there. On the front lawn.
On the front lawn.
And then in a space, Tony.
Yes.
Where it don't disturb or stop anything.
No. Man, the thing about that, think about it, Reverend McGhee. All the events that happen in that park, that front lawn is totally segregated from it. So anybody can access it any time of the day, any day of the week, and it's there for them to enjoy. And yes.
And I'm going to tell you what. A young lady called me one day, and I didn't know what she wanted. She told me she wanted to interview me. I said, "Interview me?" She said, "Yeah, I want to interview you about the memorial." I said, "Okay, any kind of coverage." I found out her daddy lived down the street from the memorial, but she's a student at the University of Georgia in Athens. She called me. We went down there and did an interview. That's a school project of the University of Georgia. That's the call to unity.
Yes.
And you know, and you start looking at it, Tony, where the community is coming to us now like never before. I was on a Netflix uh, documentary, The Turning Point, the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And a young lady saw the documentary, and she called me, met me at. She said, "Wait, I'm gonna take you out to eat. Where you want to go?" That's go to barbecue kitchen. You know, that's one of my favorite places. You know, that's our spot.
Yeah,
Tony.
really.
You know, that's barbecue. She came over there and took me out to barbecue, and she said, "Well, what do you do other than the Netflix stuff?" I told her, "Well, I'm president of Vietnam Veteran America chapter in Atlanta, and right now we're trying to do a memorial in Piedmont Park." She said, "Mama," she said, "I want to help." I said, "But, you know, I ain't know nothing about her." She come from deep pockets.
Yeah.
What you call deep pockets?
Yep.
The Home Depot.
Yeah.
Listen, Tony, we met. You met her
Right.
out to the park. And she brought a whole team of folks out there from the Home Depot, and Keith Hicks, a park and recreation design officer.
Yeah.
He's over park design. And I called Keith and I said, "Keith, this young lady want to help us do some benches around the Memorial Plaza." I said, "Will you come listen at her?" He said, he came over there and listened at her. And she told him what she needed to do to get to take it back and do this with 8 benches we getting around the park. Well, last week, Keith got all the data she needed. Now, she went back and asked him, "Well, you got all the stuff for this. What about the landscaping?" She wanted to make sure we get the grass around the thing too. She wanted to, to make sure it looks like the Memorial Garden in D.C., because it's on the front lawn.
Yeah.
And the Home Depot is doing it. See, that's the call to unity. Only God could do stuff like this
exactly.
now. So we got to keep it out there because this memorial has given us a platform to speak to all of Fulton County. Because we went to Marvin Arrington Jr. and asked him for some help. He looked at us and said, "Okay, if you expand it to include all Fulton County," we were talking about Atlanta.
Yes.
Now we got 10 other cities.
Yes.
And they all named on the memorial in Piedmont Park.
Yes.
So the Mayor Teresa was one of the first one that we went to. And she not only have she been involved with us ever since, she has been to the veteran empowerment meetings, the Vietnam Veterans Town Halls, and the day she was at the rally.
Yes.
See, this call to unity is something that is a spirit that it was birthed in God itself, but in that Memorial Park, because you can feel something.
Yes.
You can feel something in that memorial. When you get down there in that plaza, you're going to feel something. Yeah. You're going to feel the spirit of these young men that came together and out of segregated communities and gave their lives for the freedom that we have in this country today. So you think we just going to sit back and not stand up and defend them? We came home. We survived that thing, and we benefited from it. Too.
Yes.
We benefited from what they did, the freedoms that they did, that they gave us to this country. Because Tony, you was worked in air traffic control.
Yes.
You ain't had no black folks in no air traffic.
No.
Air traffic.
When I was hired, there were 25 air traffic controllers in the entire United States. You're talking about literally thousands of controllers and everything, 25. And so affirmative action, I am a product of affirmative action. And so I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that until I became a controller. And they said only 20. And you look at all the controllers in the United States. That was awesome. The other thing is when we went back to Oklahoma, because that's where they train controllers, they're not only training controllers in the United States, they're training controllers all over the world.
All over the world.
Air traffic control is a universal career because every country in this every country has an airport.
And now you can't even count the number of air traffic controllers that look like you.
No.
See, one of the things that's what I want to remind veterans, right? We benefited from the services that we run, and these guys that didn't come back home, we got to represent them.
That's it.
We got to represent them, and their hometowns are embracing them, just like they would coming home.
Yep.
You know, David Means bought a brick today.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this is the NAACP president. You know, I mean, young man, young leader that's come out to say, I got the apparatus. You know, this is what, and we're gonna work with it.
Yes.
We're gonna make sure that he got the volunteers, because we're gonna keep going out. We're gonna keep calling people out. Because this is not a we want to do. This is something we must do.
Yeah.
It's a must do. If we're gonna stand up as veterans for the Constitution, because see, we got this power. And that's called a vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's this power. If we direct this power, we can maintain this constitutional democracy and keep it growing. Because it has grown so much since we started out when it, Tony.
Yes.
So, you know, I can see my children, right, with better jobs and better opportunities than I had.
Yes.
And I was one of the first, listen, I'm the first male on my mama's side that got a college education. I got it through the GI Bill, Tony.
Exactly.
I got it through the GI Bill. They paid for it. I ain't had no student loan or nothing. I got a master's through the GI Bill, Tony.
Yeah.
That's, you know, now my children are coming along in school systems and better school systems where they can get education. I got a niece that's a doctor. I got a nephew that's a doctor. And you think that I'm going to go back to what we come from? No, we're going to fight to the end.
Yep.
We're going to fight to the end, and we're calling veterans out. You know, just stop letting these folks talk about this is political. It's not political.
Yes.
You know, we're not going to let them separate us by talking about, well, we don't get involved in politics. This is not politics. This is getting involved with patriotism.
Mm-hmm. Patriotism, and basically, it's the right thing to do.
It's urgent.
You know, we're doing something that is supposed to be. It's not. It needs to be done, or we're trying to direct it in a particular way. No, this is the way the system was designed to work for the benefit of everybody. And that's all we're trying to do. The other part, of course, is we want to make people aware of what it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. You know, we have an administration now that doesn't want to share those kinds of that kind of information, that kind of attitude, that kind of benefit for everybody.
Well, see, that's the greed of billionaires.
Yes.
And they are bamboozling, buying, and bullying their way into power in our government. And we got the power to bring them out.
Yeah.
We just got to come together and do it.
Yeah.
You know, and we can't let this be washed out by letting the people that's saying, oh, ain't no make no difference. We got to motivate them. Mm-hmm. We got to educate them and mobilize them, you know, in a way that they have never been mobilized. I don't care if you go there and vote for the mega crew.
Yeah.
I just want you to go vote.
Yes.
I'm not telling you how to vote.
How to vote, yeah.
I'm just telling you the reasons why you need to vote, because you got to make a decision about which way this nation is going now. Mm-hmm. Because what we see in the power right now is unconstitutional actions against us, and it's against not just black and brown people, it's against all people.
Yes. And if the thing about it is that if it were the best thing for the country to do, it would be easy to do.
It would be easy.
They wouldn't have to lie and scheme and manipulate to get what they want done.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to be done, it would be easy.
Because, you know, what I look at, Tony, and the hypocrisy behind this mega mob, right? Now, I'm a ex-offender. I'm not ashamed to say that because I think I'm a product of the blood of Jesus. But now, I went to law school. Yeah, I went to law school in jail, but I went to law school. I come out of prison thinking I can, you know, become a lawyer. You know, I can go take the bar. You don't care if you go to law school. If you can't pass the bar, you still not a lawyer, right? But if they said I couldn't even take the bar because I'm a convicted felon. But they got a convicted felon in the White House now.
Yes.
You know, the hypocrisy of this mega mob that's feeding him, right? It's based on hate, Tony. Hate, and the billionaires, I think, are the creators and the manipulators of hate. So that way they can control a piece of the community that haven't gotten over the racism. They haven't gotten over the racism. Fortunately, most Americans have.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like these Republicans, the traditional Republicans sit back. Mitch Romney
Okay.
said that Donald Trump was the biggest con man he had ever seen. This was before he was elected.
Yeah.
This is when they started running the first time. But you know what? Mitch got quiet. Rubio, talking about Donald Trump, he joined his movement. You got so many of these traditional Republicans that have been, I call, radicalized into this support of this mega mob, right? They bamboozled, bought, and bullied their way to where they're at now. So they think that just because they got more money than anybody else, that they're gonna control. How you gonna make a $2 or $3 million? This man has made more money since he's been in the White House than he made in the last 10 years of his life.
Yep.
And we standing up saying, well, we're gonna give him a little bit more time. We can't give him no more time.
Because it's just not him. It's his family.
Listen, it's the whole crew around him.
The whole crew. And like you said, yeah, you're right. But his family and everybody associated with him, it is almost as if that's their main purpose, to attain as much wealth as possible at the expense
of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it. Doing it in our face.
Yes.
And we saying, what the...
You know,
the Supreme Court then gave the man immunity from crimes. Man, how you gonna do it? The Democrats, listen. Once they get back in power, the Supreme Court need to be expanded. Yeah. This country is too big for 9 judges anyway, right? Because I have never seen, as a practitioner of the law, I have never seen a person that could get more hearings before the Supreme Court than this guy. I mean, usually it takes years of getting certiorari error. Every case ain't gonna get certiorari error.
Oh,
so I'm watching this stuff and say, man, how this man go to the Supreme Court, and when they knock him down, he go right back with another kind of argument, a twisted version of the law. Like, I reached this point where. Looking at what they're doing right now, and I understood what Dred Scott decision said, that a black man had no rights, a white man had to respect.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something.
And we're looking at that right now.
Right now. With the way they handle the law.
Yes.
But it ain't just about black men. It's any man that don't agree with them.
Yes.
And there's a lot of white people that's tired of this mess.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to understand that we all need to come together. It's a call to unity. It's time for us to stand up, veterans and our community, to stand up for the Constitution that we served upon.
Yeah.
Tony, I had the privilege of going to Washington, D.C. on an honor flight. and visiting all the memorials in Memorial Garden in D.C., including going to um, the cemetery,
Mm-hmm. Arlington.
Arlington National Cemetery, and I went by Artie Murphy's grave.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I didn't know over 1 million Americans have died for this country, for the democracy that we have now. That's over 1 million families that have stood up. We outnumber them.
Yeah.
So we can't be bamboozled to the point that we think that they're so powerful that we can't defeat them. They're not more powerful than the God that we serve. I don't care how much they try.
Mm-hmm.
It's our faith, our belief that's going to determine what kind of government we're going to have after November. You know, what kind of government are we going to have? I want everybody, I'm saying this in sincerity, I want you to vote, even if you go vote for them.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like you're going to outvote those that want this democracy. I think it's just more of us. Yeah. And they know it's more of us because if they didn't know it was more of us, they would be trying to do all the stuff they're doing now to suppress the vote.
Yeah. Yep.
See, so we need to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. He's going through this thing with I want this or Save America Act because he know what's going to happen to him in November.
Yeah.
Let's not be deceived. You know, the handwriting's on the wall.
Yes.
It's our choice now. Just like we were talking about free will today. It's our choice now. It's our choice now.
Yeah. We've got to continue to educate the voters.
Educate them, listen.
They need to see what's, and sometimes you have to show people over and over again before they realize, I didn't realize that. We've been showing you since day one. But if that's what it takes, that's what we've got to do.
We got to do it, yeah. and we're gonna do it in honor of those guys that we call their names today.
Yes,
we call out their names.
Yes,
we brought them home, Tony.
Yes,
so we call out their names in celebration of their sacrifice.
Yes,
and we I'm just hoping we call their names and we made a personal commitment not to let their sacrifices be in vain. No. Not to let, because if we don't go to the poll in November like we never went to the poll before, I'm afraid that these people that's in charge will keep charge.
Yes.
And they'll keep doing what they're doing to the Constitution and the freedoms that we have in this country. It's a choice that we need to enforce.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I joke about, if I was God, I wouldn't give my children free children. Because that'd be a joke because I look at what David was saying, that first we got to start in our homes with our families.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. I've been doing that for, a little while now. And, buddy, I'm discovering some stuff in my family that I don't like because they're not committed to the vote.
Yes.
And that's what David was saying. Like when we started in our homes, started with our families. If everybody do that was at that memorial today, we're talking about hundreds of people, and they get them to do the same thing. We got thousands of people. Then get them to do the same thing. We got millions of people. We got to do it in numbers. And I'm so glad, Tony. We got a meeting on the 21st with the Veteran Empowerment Commission. So we'll get a chance to talk with veterans all across the county. I mean, all across, and then we got the state council meeting coming up. We get a chance to talk to veterans all across the state and let them know we're not some radical group talking about politics right now. We're talking about patriotism. We're talking about the Constitution of these United States that's under attack. It's under attack, Tony. I don't care how we look at it. It's under attack. When you see the Supreme Court interpreting the Constitution in ways that he give this guy authority to defy independent agencies.
Yep.
Like the Federal Reserve, that he shouldn't be milling off and all of that stuff, man. Why is he doing this? While he's making billions of dollars, he got a stranglehold on the community cost of living. The cost of living for us done gone up while his wealth has gone up. So that's not good for us. It's not good for anybody that's living in this country right now in the community that we live in. And when he went to China, I want to say this about this wall. He went to China. He was all talking about what he gonna do to Iran when he before he went to China. He went to China with a plane load of billionaires, not elected officials. He get over there and he found out that China is selling rockets and supplying rockets to Iran. He came back dancing and wanted to pay Iran. He want to give Iran now $300 billion. He want to unleash, things that been on hold for Iran for decades. Why? Because the billionaires was with him.
Yep.
And they realized that one of the billionaires that with him is one of the major manufacturer of war weapons in the world. Not just in this country, in the world. He's selling military hardware to all these different countries. War is money. Eisenhower said this. Eisenhower said when he was there, General Eisenhower, beware of the military-industrial complex. They got to have war. They got to have war. Why did he go to war in the first place? It was no threat to the United States. We know that Iran was no threat to the United States.
We didn't realize what we were supposed to be taught at the time. We had selective amnesia. We forgot all of the stuff that we had learned. It's one of those situations where the things have been laid in front of us, but for some reason we're choosing not to see them. It's obvious what's going on, but for some reason we're choosing not to see it, not to face it, not to see it for what it is. And what is it going to take for the citizens of this country to see this governing body for what it is? It's a possibility that it is being seen now, but we don't know. We won't know until election time whether all of the stuff that we've talked about and the press is talking about, everybody's talking about, to see it for what it is. So this election is major. In more ways than we can imagine.
Yeah, it's major.
But the control of this country is on the table.
Well, and I'm going to say this, Tony. It's being controlled in an unconstitutional manner.
Yes.
I mean, if it was being controlled in a constitutional manner, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No.
It's being controlled in an unconstitutional manner. We didn't elect a dictator. We elected a president. A president is supposed to execute the laws of the country, not destroy the laws of the country. This mob is destroying the laws. There is no law that they respect. If the judges make a decision that's contrary to them, they start talking about rogue judges. They criticizing the judge because they didn't make the decision that they made, and they will go after them.
Rogue judges as opposed to a rogue government. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a rogue government that's only looking at the financial benefit of it. It's just, it boggles my mind how we have allowed, because it wasn't forced on us.
No.
This was not forced on us.
Greg said that we gave it up.
Yeah. And so that's what we're dealing with now. I believe at some point we're slowly becoming aware of it. The next election should be a not a determining factor, but an awareness factor of what has happened during his administration and what he's gotten away with.
But see, Tony, you're right. They're waking up because we can see protests all across the country
Yeah.
about different things like these data centers.
Yes.
They're building these big prisons.
Yes.
And communities are protesting against it.
Yeah.
So what we got to be able to do is bring all these people together with an understanding that we got to support each other.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is unconstitutional action on the part of this mob.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to say Republicans because I still believe in the two-party system.
Yeah.
And I think that, we need that balance of power so that we can always have, a government that's being checked, whether it's Republican or Democratic control. So that's what I'm trying to get veterans to see. We're not talking political stuff. We're talking patriotic stuff.
Yes.
Which you can respond to it and say it's political if you want to, and stand back until you lose your rights.
Mm-hmm. The two-party system is a necessity for our country.
A necessity
for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Ooh, be Tony.
Yeah.
It's always good when you're having conversations about something. So time has passed us away today. We'll be here, like us, share us, and come back next week. We'll be right here in Status Network doing the same thing we're doing today. Veterans talking to veterans and community about all things veterans. Yeah. Man,